In this video, we're going to look at using the normal distribution to approximate the binomial distribution. So there are a couple of issues with the binomial distribution, which means sometimes you need to do this. So if your number of trials is really large, let's say that you have a binomial distribution with 1,000 trials, maybe the probability is 0.4, or it could be anything really, and you want to know what's the probability of having, 600 successes out of 1,000. Actually calculating that by hand would involve numbers that are so big that any normal computer wouldn't be able to handle them. Really big numbers, really small numbers, it would just be a nightmare. So what computers use is they use a normal approximation. We're also going to learn how to do that. Now, nicely, and I'm going to show you this in a second, binomial distributions, as long as they meet a few conditions, look a lot like normal distributions. Have a look at what they look like. All right, so here in GeoGebra, I've plotted a histogram of a binomial distribution, and this is a binomial distribution where n is 20 and the probability is 0.5. And what you can see is the shape of this looks really similar to the normal distribution. I mean, it's not exactly a normal distribution because it is a discrete distribution, right? If you have 20 trials, you can only get 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or so on successes, but certainly the shape looks pretty good. Now, is that always the case? Well, suppose I increase n and make it 300 trials. Well, that looks even better. Okay, it's still made out of lots of small bars, but the shape looks really very, very good. It's starting to smooth out because there are so many bars. In fact, what I can do is I can place a normal distribution curve. Well, you might just be able to see that over the top. Let's make it 30 trials. You can see if I place a normal distribution curve that has the same mean standard deviation over the top, it's pretty good. So does it work for any binomial distribution? Well, no. So if the probability is not close to 0.5, have a look at what happens. So here the probability is 0.9, and you can see that it just doesn't have a symmetrical shape. And if I try to place a normal distribution over the top of it with the same mean and standard deviation, it just doesn't look that good. Similarly, if the probability is close to 0, again, it just doesn't look that good. So the two conditions, and we're going to talk about what exactly those conditions are in a moment, are that your probability needs to be fairly close to 0.5, the closer the better. Now, 0.55 is going to be close enough, like that doesn't look too bad, that has a fairly normal shape to it. That's one condition. Another condition is that the bigger the value of n, the better. So if I set n up to 200, that's going to look much better. So probability close to 0.5 and n as big as possible, the two main conditions. Okay, let's have a look at how we actually do this in practice. Okay, so suppose I had this distribution here. It's a binomial distribution with 60 trials and the probability is 0.5. So what is this going to look like? Well, it's going to look like if I plotted a bar chart or histogram for it, it's going to look like lots of bars like this. I'm not going to draw all 60 of them, but this is what it's going to look like. And our job, if we're going to find a normal distribution, so that's the smooth, continuous curve that sits really neatly over the top of this, if we're going to find the normal distribution that works, it needs to have the right mean and it needs to have the right standard deviation. So we need to know what is the mean and what is the standard deviation for that binomial distribution. And if we can do that, then we're going to be able to find the normal distribution that sits over the top of this, which is going to look something like this. So there's going to be a continuous curve that sits really neatly, neater than I can draw it over the top of this. Okay, so what is the mean for this binomial distribution? Well, it's actually quite intuitive because the mean of a binomial is just the most likely outcome, the expected outcome. And if you've got 60 trials and a probability of success of 0.45 or 45%, you'd expect to succeed 45% of 60. So the mean can be found by just taking your number of trials and saying you'd expect to succeed. You don't always, but you'd expect to succeed on 45% of them. So 60 times 0.45. And 60 times 0.45 is 27. And this generalizes in the following way. If you've got a binomial distribution with n trials and probability of success p, then the mean is NP. Okay, what about the variance? Well, the variance is a little bit fiddlier, and it's harder to give an intuitive explanation for this. The proof of it is reasonably challenging and probably a bit too much to do now, but do look it up if you want to see the proof of the variance of a binomial distribution. But here's our formula. We take, and this is variance by the way, not standard deviation, you need to square root it for standard deviation. The variance is n times p times 1 minus p. So that's number of trials times probability of success times probability of failure. So variance in our case is 60 times 0.45 times 0.55. Multiply all of that up and we get a variance of, in our case, 14.85. So what does that mean? Well, it means I now have the mean and the standard deviation, or mean and the variance, which means I can now construct a normal distribution which looks just like the binomial. So what's it going to be? Well, it's going to be, I'll give it a different letter. So I often refer to the approximation as y. It's going to be a normal distribution with a mean of 27 and a variance of 14.85. So what we've now done is we've found a normal distribution which looks really quite similar to this binomial distribution. Now that we know how to construct a distribution that looks the same, we need to learn how to use it to solve probability questions. So that's what we're going to look at in the next video. I'll see you there.